Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're getting into one of the biggest questions in DeFi. How do you actually want to earn yield as a liquidity provider? Are you someone who wants to get your hands dirty and take the wheel yourself? Or do you want to let a protocol do all the driving for you? So yeah, that's really the big question here, isn't it? Do you want that full, hands-on, granular control where you're tweaking every little detail? Or are you looking for a more hands-off, automated approach that just, well, generates yield in the background? Let's break down both of these paths so you can figure out which one is right for you. All right, first up, let's talk about the classic way, the OG method, the manual approach. This is where you are in the driver's seat 100%, managing your capital directly on a decentralized exchange, a DEX. And wow, this checklist really tells the story, doesn't it? This is absolutely not a set it and forget it kind of deal. You've got to pick your platform, find the right token pair, and then, and this is so important, you have to set a very specific price range for your liquidity. And from that moment on, you're on the hook. You're constantly monitoring for something called impermanent loss. You're rebalancing your whole position as prices move, and you're trying to figure out what your actual real yield is after all those fees and gas costs eat into it. And all of that control, well, it comes at a price. This stuff demands some serious technical know-how, and it is a huge time sink. I mean, making one simple mistake, like setting the wrong price range or not rebalancing quick enough, can cost you a lot of money. And you're always dealing with the risk of impermanent loss. That's just the fancy term for when your deposited tokens are worth less than if you had just held them in your wallet. The bottom line is, it's a full-time job. It demands active, ongoing management. So what's the alternative then? Let's switch gears and look at the second path, the automated solution. We're going to use a protocol called HitTheYield as an example of what some people call easy button yield farming. It's designed to be a totally different experience.
So what is this thing, really? Well, think of HitTheYield as your own personal automated manager for your capital. Its entire purpose is to take care of all the complicated stuff, all the deploying, the managing, the rebalancing. It does that for you. The goal is super simple. Generate yield passively without you having to deal with any of the day-to-day operational headaches.
So how does it actually work? Well, from your end, it's pretty straightforward. You stake a bond, let's say you do it in ETH. The protocol then takes that capital and automatically puts it to work in liquidity positions. The yield you earn gets paid out to you in a stablecoin like USDC. Now, here is the really crucial part. That yield, that revenue, it's generated from real trading fees on DEXs. It is actual cash flow. It's not yield that comes from just printing more and more inflationary reward tokens. And since this is all DeFi, everything it does is totally transparent and right there for you to see on-chain. All right, now that we've seen both paths, let's get to the main event. Let's put them right next to each other and have a showdown. This is where you can really see the trade-offs, plain and simple. This table really breaks it all down. Let's start with complexity. Manual LP, super high. The automated approach? Low. We're tucking one-click simple. What about control? Well, manual gives you full active control over everything. Automated is passive. You're delegating that control, and that directly affects your time commitment. It's really high for manual because you're always analyzing and making changes versus basically zero active management for the automated model. And finally, the profit source. Manual often relies on a mix of trading fees plus maybe some inflationary token incentives. The automated model we're looking at focuses purely on real revenue from those DEX fees. Okay, now let's be real for a second. Neither path is a free lunch. Neither one is risk-free. With manual LP, you're the one on the front lines managing the risk of impermanent loss, and you're the one who might set the price ranges wrong. With an automated protocol, you still have smart contract risk. That's just part of DeFi. But you're basically trading the risk of your own user error for what we'd call protocol operational risk. You're now dependent on that protocol strategy being a good one. So you see, the choice isn't about eliminating risk, it's about choosing which kind of risk you're more comfortable managing.
So after going through the process, the good stuff and the risks, we finally get to the big question. Which path is actually yours? Let's take a look at who each of these approaches is really built for. The manual path. It really shines for a very specific type of person. If you're an active trader, a tinkerer, someone who genuinely gets a kick out of optimizing things, and you're comfortable with all the complexity, then yeah, this is probably your lane. The reward for all that work is the potential for higher returns, if you get it right. This is for you if you want total 100% control over every single decision, and most importantly, if you actually have the time to dedicate to managing it. Now, on the flip side, the easy button approach is designed for a completely different person. This is for the passive investor who's really just looking for cash flow. It's for people who have limited time, who can't be glued to a screen micromanaging their positions all day. If you want the upside of being a liquidity provider but without that heavy operational baggage, or if you just rather take user error completely out of the equation, this path is probably a much better fit.
And that really brings us to the single most important takeaway from all of this. There is no single best answer here. It's not about which method is better on paper. The only thing that matters is which model fits your personal strategy, your tolerance for risk, and your level of commitment. So I'll leave you with that question to think about. Now that you've seen both sides of the coin, what's your path? Are you the hands-on active optimizer, or are you the hands-off passive earner? The choice is all yours. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.